Okay, good morning, folks. Let's get started and welcome to, we're going to get started in a minute. Just waiting to get our streaming going. It's a little bit early. We got about 20 seconds. Hey, Mark, are you paying attention or are you off working? FJ Pro won't load for me. Is it loading for you? Financial Juice. I think their website's down. All right, folks, good morning and welcome to the 10-minute trade room. We're looking at Canada GDP this morning. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director at 10-minute trades. Please remember that all trades we discuss are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures. So trade carefully, please. And this is a perfect example this morning of trading carefully. So I noticed last month there was a little bit of movement for the first time in ages on Canada GDP. So let's take a look. I mean, we have a couple of other reports today that are decent to good. So you always want to keep in mind, what do you have going on in the day that you're trading, in your trading day? What's your plan? You know, is your plan to trade any risky reports that aren't working? Is your plan to test some risky reports that haven't been working? You know, it's all part of your plan. It should be anyway. Every week you should create a plan and try to follow it. So this morning I was planning on testing a breakout trade on Canada GDP. This was a trade that I found personally for our company. I'm not bragging. Don't get me wrong. It's nobody can find every trade. It's not possible. There's just too many reports, too much data out there. So when I got here, I looked for a lot of new reports that weren't being traded. I did an enormous amount of testing. And this was one of the reports that I found. It was always a really big mover. But it definitely had elements of inconsistency, but overall, it wasn't a bad trade. But I don't think we've traded this trade. It's more than a year, maybe even longer, because it totally stopped. No, it's probably a year, because it completely stopped moving. Completely. So when a report stops moving, obviously you that's when you stop trading it, right? So, but we never really changed very much the way that we traded it. In other words, when we were trading it, we had a pretty specific way that we would trade it. Now I got to show you something funny. Look at our old reports. These were the reports in 2017. It had a 5-tick bracket and a 15-tick stop. No targets. It did have the instrument. It did have the risk. But our reports are much, 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 much better now. Way more sophisticated, right? So I'm just looking to see if I have a slightly newer one. It really doesn't matter because this report hasn't been behaving at all. We have to trade it differently. Okay, this is the way we traded it fairly recently, but you got to go back to 2019. 2019. Okay. It was a report that we used to activate at 58 seconds in those days. And it had a bracket of 5, still targets of 712, 7 and 12, and a stop of 15. Now, I'm not trading it the way that I traded it years ago because the report hasn't been moving. Look at January. Now, January, all I did was record the movement, okay? So this was the movement at 8:30, January 29th. That was when the news came out. Now, that was a pretty fast move. Canada has low liquidity also. That could fill you at the top of the candle and be a stop out. That is a possibility because that was a tremendously fast move. Okay. When you do your testing, you got to keep that in mind. You don't want a move that takes place in a nanosecond because a nanosecond move can often be trouble. It could fill you at the top of the candle. It will not fill you at the bottom of the candle because you're going to have some slippage. Your software, any software, whether it's ours or another company's, it needs a little bit of time to place the stops and the targets. And sometimes when an index moves so fast because of a news report, sometimes your software can't get ready in time and it doesn't work. The trade won't work because of that. The stop doesn't get placed in the proper time, so you might get an error. You might get an error. So January, I would not say that that was a guaranteed winner, first target winner. And that's about all it moved was one target, maybe 7, 8 ticks. In December, we actually had a trade room. We've had some trade rooms for Canada GDP, and we haven't had any trades because we've been looking for reversals, which means you have to have a decent original move, right? And here's the news. The news was quite negative, and you just don't have much of a response, a couple of ticks. That was December, okay? So you could probably yell at me. I probably jumped the gun on this trade room because it's my nature to want to trade. But I don't honestly think that this report is ready to trade yet. It's just not giving us the moves. Now, last month we had a questionable tradable move, but it was big enough for the first time to get me thinking maybe Canada GDP is going to start to stage a comeback. That's the question. So December, you really had nothing to do. October, which was really October, November, because it was October 30th, so there was no November report. We were doing the same thing. We had a trade room. We were looking for a move. No, you know what? We were doing a breakout and a reversal. And you could see, so there's your breakout. 2 ticks. 3 ticks. No follow through. Right? So you see that there's nothing going on here. No follow through. And you just don't really have a trade here either. So that's October, November, a minute after the news, and there's just not much of a response. And then if you look at September, now we're starting to enter markets that don't have any meaning because they're getting too far away. So September, it was a quick fill. The news was matching. And remember, don't forget, in sim, sometimes your fill is not honest. Okay? Sometimes your fill is not honest in sim. Now, that particular fill went a bit past your entry, but it's fast. It's a fast fill. So it looks like it did shoot down 5 ticks, fill you. Then you had matching news, so it's a bad test. You have no impetus for a proper directional move. When the news is matching, when the forecast is the same as the result, then you don't get a good test because you're not positive, you're not negative from what's expected. So you just don't have a good result to test. And then in August, and I think we've given this report a fairly good shot. We've given it a bunch of tries. We try to break out in August. So if every try that you do results in a cancel, a reversal, and a stop, a no trade, a lousy move, then you just got to wait. You just got to be patient. You can test it. But what's the point of trading real money if you haven't had a single profitable possible report in the past 6 months, 7 months, right? August, September, October, November, December, January. You got 6 we looked at 5 reports, okay? We just looked at 5 reports. None of them were a guarantee for profit. None of them. In this report, in August, you could see the news, Canada GDP, little bit negative. The numbers were crazy back then because of the crisis. Down 38%. They were expecting, it looks like down 39% is what they were expecting, yes. Down 39, you got down 38. But you didn't really get, so the news was worse than expected. News was worse than expected. And you just really didn't get much of a news pop, right? You didn't get a tradable move. Forgive me for slurping. So you got 5 reports. The only report that moved was last month, but watch it carefully. And also it's a replay. The replay servers are not the same as the live data servers also. So at 8:30, you get a burst so fast. Now remember, Canada, the Canadian dollar index is a low liquidity index, meaning the fills are lousy on a good day. Okay? The fills are lousy on a good day. So that was not, who's going to do some calculation for me? Somebody do a calculation. Subtract 75 and 25, so that's 50. So that's maybe tops a 10 tick move, tops. So that's not bad. I mean, a 10 tick move is possibly tradable. But look how fast it moved. You're going to get filled towards the top of the candle, and you're going to wind up not making money because it's going to fill you right here, very possibly, and then stop you out on the pullback. Okay. Now that might have actually been a tiny tradable reversal, but even that wouldn't have been hard. That would have been hard to make money also, because you don't know when that candle's done printing. So would you have put your reversal in at the top of the candle, or would it have been on the pullback? You might have had a little bit of time to get a fill somewhere around here and grab 5 ticks, $25, because it's $5 a tick on Canada. So Canada is not a question of, well, I'm going to lose a ton of money if I trade it, because it's $5 a tick. It's not so much the dollars you're going to lose, but it's more the reliability of the report. And right now, Canada GDP, it just has no consistency. It has virtually no moves, and it has no opportunity or very little opportunity, if any at all, to make money. So this is a trade that you test. It's a trade you don't put real money on. Now, I said that, you know, if we were trading and there was a tremendous amount of news, but there were good reports in the news, I would take a trade with one contract. This particular report, it has there's no impetus to do anything except watch it. So what I would do, I mean, I wouldn't want you to put your money on this report, right? Can you all hear me okay? Are you all able to hear me? Because my recorder mic doesn't want to record. Can you all hear me okay? You know what? I know you can hear me because I can hear myself on YouTube. All right, let me try record it one more time. There we go. So here's what I would do. We need to know, is there any hope? Is there any hope for Canada GDP? So the first thing I would set up is a breakout. Now, our old bracket was 5. I'd go to 4. Now, testing it, if it was a good behaving report, because it's $5 a tick, I would trade at least 4 or 5 contracts. But we're just looking to see if the report works. So you don't need to trade extra contracts. We're just looking to see, well, how's it working? So you do one target for 4 ticks, one target for 8 ticks, and a stop of 10, and an entry time of 8:30 because of the way news has been released these days. You know, what I might consider, because of the history of the report, just for fun, let's take a look. What time did last month's report trigger? So it's 8:50. Look at the wind. The time is here. So 8:30 and 1 second is when it triggered. So at 8:30 there was no move. At 8:30 and 1 second there was no move. So that tells me that the most recent trade, an entry of 8:30, was safe. And then if we look back to December, you really should look at 3. Okay? 3 makes a trend. 3 makes a trend. 8:30, no move. The move, you have a second after 8:30. 3 makes a trend, so let's look at the third. Anyway, 2 out of 3 is okay. So there's our trend. 8:30, still no move. So there's your move well after 8:30. So I don't want to get filled early in any of these trades like yesterday, right? Yesterday we got filled early. It makes a tremendous amount of complications. Because you don't know if you should stay in, get out early. So Canada GDP, we've got a breakout set up, okay? And because if you get a giant move and you get thrown out of the breakout trade, you might as well set yourself up a reversal trade with a target of 8 and a target of 15 with a stop of 15, okay? We haven't seen anything approaching these kinds of moves. Choose reversal. Don't forget to label it reversal. And then your trade type must say reversal. And there, when you click enable, you get your buttons. So we have 2 trade possibilities. We're going to check our time to see if we're in sync. And remember, this trade hasn't worked in 6, 7 months. We check our time by going to the website time.is. And it puts my computer in time sync, okay? And that's what I'm looking for it to do. So we are going to get a bracket, right? We're going to get a bracket of 5 ticks at 8:29 at 8:30. And if there's a big move, then we should have traded it. But the report hasn't moved in how many months? We said over and over again, 6, 7 months. So those aren't the trades that you jump into. You jump into the trades that have been working for you, because that's how you make money. And that's what you plan out every week, every Sunday when you get the schedule, right? And YouTube folks, you can sign up for our free schedule by going to www.10minutetrades.com, and that's our free schedule. All the trade rooms when they open and the reports that we're trading, okay? That schedule can also help keep you safe if you're a discretionary trader, because you'll know when to be out of the market if the market you're trading is moving, has the potential to move because of a report you didn't know about, right? So we're just waiting to see if there's any move at all on Canadian GDP. Is there any life in this report? That's what we're looking to see. If there's life in this report yet. If not, we'll be back later and we'll trade API, and then a little bit later in the evening at 7:15, we'll look to trade Australia's GDP report. So we got about 2 minutes. I remember the days where Canada GDP, you'd see the price here and it would go boom. It would go up to there. And you could count on that move almost every month. That's the way that it used to move. I couldn't get mine to load, Mark. I couldn't get mine to load. It's probably the browser now that I'm using. I know it wasn't working earlier, so I'm so close to the trade, I can't mess with it now. Possible reversal, I suppose, if you got to the PP, it's very small. So we're really looking to see if there's any move, if there's a breakout trade that might work. So there's your brackets. 8:30, the news should come out. It's late. Mark, maybe you could say what it is because I can't see it. Okay, so you have a little bit of mixed news, negative, positive, right? Negative on the quarterly compared to the previous, no forecast. But look at the move. We only had a 4-tick bracket. 4-tick bracket. I would cancel this. This is a canceled trade. But I'm just going to let it play out to see if anything happens. There's no reversal. What are you going to reverse? A 4-tick move? It's like a little whipsaw candle. So you could just see this just, you don't have a report. You don't have a trade. You have a report, but you don't have a tradable report. You have a good offset. The news is good. It should go up. So I would cancel this. This is a failed report. It's also coming out late. It's coming out late. It's negative and positive. So you would have gotten filled if we were playing for real. Now, if there's follow through, you have time to get out with 2 ticks, right? You could combine your orders. First, I'd cancel the reversal because there's nothing happening there. You could always put it back on, right? You've got no follow through on your short. So combine your orders. Hit the combine button. Watch the orders combine. Now you can control both your orders and get yourself out with a teeny profit so you don't lose money and just cover your expenses. Okay? That was about the best you could do on today's report, cover your expenses. We're not going to get up next month to do this. It doesn't pay. Doesn't pay. Why did I get up this week, this month? I'll show you. I got up this month. I got up this month because when I looked at January, I saw this. Watch. When I saw this, I got a little bit excited. I said, hey, maybe Canada GDP is going to move again. But it really didn't give us very much. If you waited, it went first, it didn't, they're saying the news is positive and it's moving to the downside. So you don't have consistency in the report yet. However, it wouldn't have been a 40-second cancel, right? It would have been a canceled trade. If you stayed in and broke the rules and traded 2 contracts, maybe you could have made $50 if you did everything the wrong way. And let me explain what I mean by showing you the video. So Canada GDP, here's the video in 1 second. Yes, KW, it's a very good trade. So here's Canada GDP today. Why is it? So figure normally it was a 10-second cancel. You'd get a quick move. The way it's been behaving now, you probably got to go 20 to 30 seconds, right? So here's your news, 8:30, it's late. You have no response. No response. You have a response there. So there's part of the news. 15 seconds. There's the news finally starting to come out. 20 seconds. Really, you're a canceled trade. 30 seconds, you're 100% a canceled trade no matter what. You're a canceled trade here. You're not going to trade this when there's no move. It's just not the way we do things. So this would be canceled. All right. If you just wanted to see what happens, because you're testing and you stay in, it took a minute, more than a minute, to even move 4 ticks. 4 ticks. That's $20 in Canadian value. The Canadian dollar is $5 a tick. It didn't move 4 ticks. And the news, the rest of the news didn't come out for a minute and a half. When it finally comes out, it fills you to the downside, okay? Because the month over month was negative. And it kind of just sits and you watch it. It sits and you watch it. You understand, right? You all get it. This is not yet a tradable report. There's just nothing going on here that makes it worth it. So I canceled the reversal, combined the orders with the combine button. And then I moved the orders to get out to cover my expenses. And it's 2.5 minutes after the event. And you really just, there's not much going on. Okay. So that's what I did. That's what I would have done. In real life, I would have canceled. There would have been no trade because it was over 30 seconds with no move. You have no reversal because that's only a couple of ticks. So there's nothing. You just don't have a trade here yet, folks. I wish we did. I wish we did, but we don't. It's nobody's fault. If you don't show up and try on real market data, you'll never know the truth. Real market data is the way that you can tell what's going on for real. So I want to thank all our YouTube folks for watching. Donna, how do you get your computer to sync? Go to the website time.is. Time.is. Donna, if that doesn't work, send me a message at help@10minutetrades.com. Help@10minutetrades.com. And I'll send you a free tool. Try going to the website time.is. So, folks, I'll see everybody at 4 o'clock for API, and then we'll be here 7:15 for Australia. Please note there is a mistake on the report. There is no Canada employment report on Friday. We'll be trading the US report anyway. And we may have a webinar, free webinar on Thursday, all about the jobs report. And it will be recorded. Okay? So I'll see everybody. The platform that we're using is Ninja Trader. Ninja Trader. And praise, we also have special software that loads into Ninja Trader. If you go to our website, www.10minutetrades.com, 10minutetrades.com, you can sign up for our free schedule and start to learn about what we do. Okay? If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can watch tons of videos too. You can watch them anyway. Okay? But if you subscribe to the channel, you can get notified when we'll be here again. All right, folks? So Canada GDP, no life yet. Just no life. Just not happening yet. So we gave it a shot. And we'll keep our eye on it. But probably won't get up early next month because it's not worth it yet. Okay? Any questions? Any questions? Anybody? Otherwise, I'll see everybody at 4 o'clock for API. Okay, folks. See you all later.